Hi guys, we continue our session in 200 NL Russian cash. So hope you will enjoy it. And we'll play 4 tables, and we build stacks. So hope we can play some big pots. So let's dive into the action. 8-5 suit here. That's the bottom. I will open this end. King jacks off here. We'll open UTG also. Yeah, that's the bottom. It's still okay to open. Now on this board, if I just to bet one big blind you with your entire range or bet 1/4, both strategy will work extremely well because I don't expect them to check call now, for example, on this spot. And also they have to raise some 7x's, some 7/8, that type of things, and I don't think they will do it. So I expect the calling regions not have enough flushes. And now on the ace, I will just bet big with 8-5. I think we have a cool bluff on a lot of runouts, and you need to bluff some hands that doesn't have a spade in it. And I think 8-5 is a good hand for this because you will not block the call fold region from hand like queen 10, king 10, king jack, queen jack. So the 5 is a good hand because it doesn't block this type of hands, and the 5, the 8 also, and you also have a good shot. So, and now on the river, I will just bet big. I think overbet is completely fine here. Can't overbet the turn in theory, but I think it's river it's completely okay to be pulled out of flush. I think 3/4 also work well because when you bet 3/4, it expands your value region. I will call 6s here. And when you bet 3/4, you can have more 2 pairs and straight type of hands instead of just overbetting and be capped at flushes. But I think bluff sizing works well in value when you bluff. So I think when you bluff, you mainly want to have flushes blocker when you overbet. But I don't think it's a huge deal in practice. If you will be really close anyway, so things even it's also okay to overbet this type of hands, even if it's a bit suboptimal in theory. I will fold 6s again this sizing, and queen 10 I will 3-bet. H9 here I will check out of position. Just play a big pot against this guy who called a 4-bet with 6-3 suited. It's a bit weird because he did some good plays, but the play he did was not great. But let's see. H9 is just a fold against half pot sizing. And then with queen 10 on 7-3 deuce. I think as deep you want to play with less bets, and queen 10 is a good hand to check. It's also great to have some flushes when you check in this spot. And now on the queen on the turn, I think that we can have multiple sizing here. If I slow play and like aces kings, for example, I just want to go extremely big. And if I have a 7, for example, or 8 with after spade that I check the flop, we can also have some smaller bets. And I think queen 10 plays well as a small bet here. And I will open king jack. And on the 6 of spades, I think that it's good to bet smaller again. I just want him to bluff. It depends on the site you play on, but some players will not find bluffs because they're just too afraid to raise bluff. So it will change what is the best TV you have to gain in these spots, because if people don't bluff raise, you maybe have to use a bigger sizing, for example. But I think here the sizing is still okay, especially because blocking a queen means that he will mainly have a pocket pair. I think in this spot, just call the turn. Even if in against a human, I think humans will have less pocket pairs because they bet it too much on the flop. They bet too much 8, 9, 10s, jacks. I mean 6, 6, 5. So I think in practice, the range is overweighted towards queen x compared to theory. So he maybe wants next float to just use a bigger sizing on the river because I don't expect him to fold the queen. But yeah, maybe a slightly mistakes in theory here in practice, but that's still okay. And here with a deuce, a little bit small. If he overraised the small bets, I will win a lot of money, but I don't think it will happen for the reason I said. I think he has a lot of bluff he can choose. I will free bet here with 7-5 off. Same reason as before. I will bet the turn again with ace deuce. You're playing a bit deeper, and I don't expect them to 4-bet enough when you play like 150 dips, because some players will 4-bet bluff enough at the stack size, but some don't. And against the people, you can't really um against the people that don't 4-bet you enough, you just win a lot of money by free betting way more this type of hands. So I actually like it. 70 I will fold, and 10 off, that's the bottom I will call. It is the absolute bottom. I don't think it wins a ton of money, but anyway. Here on the 6, I will check this end here. I also expect people to delay too much, and also in case you're not delaying too much, the ends that I can't value bet the turn with folds and doesn't have too much outs against me, so it's just okay if you check back his queen down these spots. I will stop here. I think I would just bet 2 big blinds to be called by something. I think the block is actually okay now on the river. And I just don't expect players to play enough air as check bets, because they often delay the air too much compared to delay them on the river, delay them on the turn. They delay them too much on the turn, but not enough on the river, I would say. So I prefer to bet myself this type of hands, because I don't think we have enough EV by just check calling this spot. We can also check raise. I don't think it's bad. So yeah, 2 options possible. I'm gonna call a succeeded here. With 8, I will fold. Super weird lead by this guy. I don't think we have a ton of value to raise, so I would just call. I think the only thing you can do is min raising to maybe induce him to do something crazy, but I just prefer the call here. I think it just works better. I will free bet here with ace jack. And ace 9, I will just c-bet here. I'll just c-bet a bit bigger, and I will also explain why. I will call again ace jack. I don't think we have enough value when you raise. Yeah, I just think it's a call. Can maybe raise like overpairs, but I think most of my overpair wants to raise on the flop. But given the fact I block a jack, it's maybe a bit better to call this type of hand. It's not that blocker is so important against fishes, but when you want to raise this type of hands, just better to don't block the top pair. Here with ace 9, I will check. So yeah, why I bet big on this flop with ace 9 is because most people don't call 6-7 and sets, and if it's the case, you win money. So I like this strategy. And now with jack, that's actually pretty close. I don't see which hands make sense in value to play with this sizing. He might have 9s and 4 sometimes, but I don't expect him to bet. I will bet big now with ace 9. Oh wow. I think I will call. I expect to face enough bluff here, but that's super tough spots, honestly. We'll call. And we didn't win this time. And here with 10s, I will fold against the alpha c-bet, and I will explain also why. Sounds tied to you, but the problem here is he c-bets alpha, so let's talk a bit about EV distribution. So the second set I will explain later, but here, let's say we play against 10 guy, okay, with 10s here on 8-6 deuce. The problem by calling this type of hands is his range is bluffs, pre-flop bluffs, so Broadway suited ends type of hands. Wait. Okay, let me just explain this and we'll continue playing after. So yeah. Oh, one moment. Yeah. So his range is, I think, queens, kings, aces, okay, and ace king mainly when they 4-bet. Can have like king 10, king queen suit, oh, of course. I will raise here. I don't think calling 5 works so much. And this sizing looks cap. It looks a lot like a random ace. So I like to bluff it. And now with 9-6, I will also bet big. I don't think he has a lot of queen x now. I mean, of course, you can still have queen jack, even king queen. But I don't think the bluff, the pawn a overbets, and yes, I can just overfold these spots. So yeah, raising with 5s, I think it's great, especially against capsizing. So yeah, let's explain the 10 cents. The thing here is when you face an half pot c-bet, you need to think about which range wants to bet half pot on such a dry board. And the response is queens, kings, aces makes sense, because they just wants to put money in the middle. They don't want a flush draw to come in the turn. When he have a king, he doesn't want an ace. So this sense makes sense. Now, does it make sense to bet half pot with ace king? Some say yes, some say no. I mean, if you for tens, of course, that's great. But now let's take 10 players, okay? If 9 players, okay, so you play, the population contains 10 players only. If 9 players out of 10 are playing a balanced strategy in the half-pot bets, which leads towards my ends to be close to EV0, okay, or just winning a tiny amount. If 9 players play this way against these 9 players, my EV is close to 0, okay. Now, if 1 player out of 10, so 10% of the overall population, don't find the ace king here, I'm just against queens, kings, aces. And how much do I lost? A lot of money, like at least $30 or even more, 35. I mean, when you touch a 10 or flush, but we'll win. So what I want to say is that even if 10% of the population doesn't play well, you lose a lot, like a lot of money. Because if you lose, let's say 30, it's not 30, of course, but let's say you lose like 3/4 of the bet sizing he used on the flop, you will lose $30, okay, for one guy out of 10. So it's 10% of the population. But in big blind per 100, you will lose not 15 big blinds, but 150 big blinds. So by making a call here, if we assume that 10% of the population is playing only queens plus this way, and honestly it might happen, this will not be surprising, I lose 150 big blind per 100, okay? And that's only if one guy, only one, is not playing his team this way. And you see, because you see why I make this stateful, but I will explain in another video anyway. Just why you need to make this fold, because even if the guy is play balance, you will not win too much with tens, because you will still have the aces, queens, kings, queens, even jacks sometimes. And if this guy only play with this size with queens plus and play 1/4 of his king, you lose a ton of money. So yeah. Just wanted to explain the fold here. Ace 10 suited here. I will call against the free bets. Need to reload here. I will call on the flop. Not like this sizing, but we will call. I'll squeeze the king 10 here. We don't need to bet so big. I would call actually. I don't think the squeeze is as good, especially because of this guy playing 40 dips. So actually, I prefer to call. And now let's see what he does. He checks, and I think I will check. I don't think we have any EV here by betting, so just need to check. And now I don't think he has a flush super often, so I really wants to jump to make for like ace jack or ace king, to be honest. But yeah, and I'm gonna fold. I just don't think people bluff this spot super often. Like they have to use the output sizing with king queen, not barrel the turn, bet big the river. I just don't know here. So yeah, I would just fold here. We stand. Um, and I think in theory it's just mixed. The sand is never calling 100% of the time, and the 10 is not really a good cast to have because I would barrel here with ace 5, just barrel big, and he fold. Um, yeah, wait. Um, I don't expect ace 10 to be good to call the river against population, and even against the pool. I don't know. Like he just represent flashes, but I don't see any bluffing this type of sizing. Yeah, I just don't know. But when I don't know and I have an intuition, I will prefer to play more close-ish. We can sim this end after maybe, but no way, it's 100% call. Like the 10 is just not a good card, so I prefer to call ace deuce h3 rather than ace 10. We'll bet small here with jack. I will play another interesting hand here with ace 5. I really advise you to barrel lots on the turn, and the main reason is because it's super tough for them to call enough when it's king for free. Even if it's a king high board, actually, they will often overfold the turn. Depends on the spot, of course. So yeah. And now with juices, I will just bet small. And queens against two fishes, I think we just need to bet big on the flop directly. And I would just bet 2/3. And juices now will just fold against a raise. Even if this siding is a bit suspicious, I will do this siding with an 8, why so big with a 7, but with that information, we just fold. And on the 7 of clubs, of diamonds, I think we should continue betting here, and I will just do a big sizing. I don't expect them to fold a 10 super often, and yeah, we can just max value against draw here, so I think it's okay. And the concept I teach you is maybe something I will do again. It's called EV distribution. And a concept I actually discovered. I never learned it from a coaching site or anything. But I will talk about it more um, in another video. Um, um, let's continue a bit here. Of course, as I said, if you like the video, like and subscribe. Um, it would just help the channel to grow, and if the channel grows well, I will publish more videos. Here force I will fold. 7-6 I will fold also. And like with the 10 ends, I didn't also count the scenario when he sized down aces and sized up ace king, but I just don't think it's going to happen so often. Anyway, 6 is here. I will fold on the flop. This hand is just bad. You really want to what at least a 4 to call on the flop. Because it has more outs against the valuation, but now with 6 it's just super easy fold. Okay. I'll play with the short curse, just a bit better. Then I will fold. I'll open queen 9 here, it's the bottom. And he will 3-bet and I will fold. No, it's not the case. I will ISO here with 10-6. Fishes don't limpy raise, so just ISO all the time, and you can see bets and they will fold all the time. I mean, super often, so that's good. We have queen 9. It will just check this one. I will fold 5-4. He calls. Turn is extremely bad. I just need to check and give up now. There's not a lot of things I can do. So I will just check. Um, and now queen nine, I will check all. I don't think his sizing is super great, but at low frequency it should be okay. But the main sizing he wants to choose here is the biggest sizing. Now with queens, I will call against the four bets, and I will not bluff 10-6 here. And at six deuce, okay. At least we split. That's what it's why it's great. And queen nine, I think I have enough equity here to overbet this one. And I will call queens against the four bets here, and just fold against the c bet. So now on this river, I expect him to bet mainly king, queen, ace, queen. So queen nine has actually enough equity to overbet. So I will overbet the queenish region. You can have like maybe freak sizing here, or like overbets with good queen x, 2x, and like overpairs, for example. And you can also add some block with like some 9x and jack x region. Even if I think that jack x is good enough to 3/4 maybe. But yeah, free sizing is completely okay. And maybe queen h is a bit thin, and maybe in theory it will just be bet more 3/4, but I think overbet is okay, especially against this guy with French, basically. I'll call in. I will call ace 8-7. Excuse me. Starts to be tired. I squeezed ace 5. Now on jack 9. There is nothing we can do. I will call nines. It's not winning so much in theory, but I think it's okay to call. And ace 7. Now we just fold. And yeah, as I said, this 5. We don't go anywhere here. We just need to check. And now 2/3 sizing is a bit strange. I think 9 is a fold in theory, and I will assume that this sizing is strong. So I just prefer to fold. It's tough to make this type of call when you don't know this guy, the guy honestly. I will fold ace 5. And yeah, I think 9 is just a fold. You prefer to call with the clubs because you have more equity, to clean outs. So I don't want to make the call with 9s here. Yeah, I just wanted to open freaks, but I misclicked. Ball is ace queen 4. You can bet close to range here. It's completely okay. I just prefer to range check on these boards. You don't lose a lot of EVs, and okay, that's funny that she bluffed. You don't lose a lot of EVs by checking your entire range of this board. And I just know the strategy extremely well because I played it for a long time. And H3, that's actually super close on the flop. I don't think it's a 100% call with top pair here. Can definitely starts to fold some of them. But I don't think H3. We will only fold the like worst one. Like with the clubs, for example. That's not even sure. I think the pair is a bit too strong. And now on the king, I think my end is okay check. Can maybe do both. Here with ace jack off, I will barrel again. I think it's super difficult for him to call an off the turn. I expect this guy to do so, but I'm not even sure. But if I don't know, just bet small, bet big, and that's working well. I will check here. I don't think we have. But I don't think we have even value. I don't see one hands we do we value here. Ace jack, but which hands do I bluff? Stuff for me to find bluff. I will have to bluff for cents, for example. And he had the free, so he bet pot with 6-3 of diamond, which I don't really like. I think his range is this hand is not strong enough to pot. You need at least 4x to pot. And again, like having a big sizing here with the 4 is not bad at all. I don't think it's used super often in theory, but that might make sense. That have some senses. It's okay. And yeah, I just think this hand is strong enough, and he's so polar that I don't think as a population we can fold an ace. Because they're often going to give up either on the flop or on the turn. So I don't expect to be in top spots on the river super often. And I don't think it's a play like H9 plus this way also. So yeah, just always call H3. Even if in theory, if you see the EV, that's not so high. Jack off your folds. And that's not even sure we fold the next one. But anyway, H5 here against a big bet, so maybe it's small. I will call. Let's close on the turn, I would say, but never fold here when you have a pair plus um, equity. And I actually didn't think about it, but yeah, tired and just didn't think about it. But on the river, when you play against a fish here, I would say that the turn barrel is a lot of a 10x. I mean, it's 10x. It's 10x often. And the thing is, on Jack, you only have Jack 10 as a good end. And if I like lead, for example, it's tough for him to call King 10 ace 10. But I think without information, it's just nice to play this style of play. And we'll just finish the session with these spots. Ace 8 against the fish here. We can maybe do both actions. I just prefer the check. And I will check how much did I win, how much did I lost. I will call the 3/4 bet on the flop. Let's look like Jack X a lot, so you need to be careful. Because against some fishes players, it's just not a good call. And I see it here. I think it's definitely okay to jump. And now, I think we just have a check. We don't really have an incentive to bet here. And even if he has a jack, I think he can bet fold here easily. Because the only value against he will have now is queen 10. And if he decided to check a jack, I think he will fold it all the time. So yeah, I just like the spots here. I have straight a lot and he doesn't have so much value and here. So I like the jump and he fold. So thanks for watching and see you from the video. Bye guys.